So she like put the soap, like wash her butt and everything with it, right? I'm like, yo, how you gonna put the bar on your butt? She's like, it's soap. Soap can't get dirty. Now, I don't know, but
Hold on.
to me, that's weird. Is that
Time
a
out.
thing? I just had a question there. Can soap get dirty? It is soap. You use it to clean dirt. but
Soap
like,
can get dirty.
to me, that's
You're now tuned in.
You're now tuned in.
You are now tuned in
You now tuned in.
You are now tuned in
to the Juxtaposition Podcast.
What's going on, yo? Welcome to episode 29 of the Juxtaposition Podcast, aka the Extraordinary Nobodies, aka Five Heartbeats, aka Starting Five, aka Four Hubbies in the Possible. I'm your host, Varsinio Hall. I am here with the guys. Got my boy Moneybag Yo checking in. What's good, bro?
Hey, what up, man? Nothing much hanging in there.
Got my boy CE Zo. What's going on?
shit. What's going on?
This nigga said cheer. This,
Yeah, bring
yo,
it
I
back.
swear Zo's in the time capsule. I feel like if it's any slang words that I forgot from 02 to 2018, you got me. I know. And we got Chef in the building. What's good, bro?
Yo, I gotta say this, man. Your energy just pepped me up just now. Like you just
I appreciate that.
You just kind of came in and did that.
I appreciate that.
Nah, we up here. We here. It was good.
And we're gonna make up for our good brother Pulpit Poppy handling business. But he'll be back with us next week. But what's going on, fellas? Let me start the podcast right. We are here to amplify the voice of the modern black man. I can never forget that. It's always on my mind, but it's always when I start talking to y'all, it's like I just kind of get into it. Before we get into the question of the week, just want to hear how y'all week's been. It's the first week in Black History Month. You feel me? So Black History Month is in the building. Happy Black History Month to all y'all brothers. Half the James.
Cheers.
Hey, if you are 1/3 black, you are black. 100%.
Talk about that Black history. Talk about that Black history,
black,
brother.
Black, y'all. Bleedy black.
I feel like it wouldn't be Black History Month if Alonzo didn't have a story for us about how things relate. I don't know. You want to save it for later? Or you want to give it to us now?
I mean, I got a couple.
Only about the book. Only about the book.
Okay, we'll talk about that now because the other is
All right.
not on topic with our topic for the day.
Bet.
So pretty much, my daughter tells me, "Hey, Dad, guess what? It's February 1st. It's Black History Month." I'll say, "Yup, right on." Right? So
Right on.
I'm like, "Okay, what y'all talking about? Like, what y'all learning? Anything on the schedule here?" And then she shows me this book. It's called A Ranger in Time. And I'm like, what the hell is that? I never heard
I don't
of
like it already.
Yeah,
I don't like
I've
it.
never heard of that book before. So I'm like, Amber, like, what is this? So I said, let me read the back, right? So my wife,
Wait,
she's
before you
already,
keep going, that's how I feel like people
that's how they do the cliff notes.
say they read a book,
Yeah,
right?
I just
They
read the back.
read the back of the book. I read that
But
book.
listen, the back of the book is crucial. Like, if you're an author, you know that people do that. You need to put the juice out on the back, okay? Other than that, it's like a commercial or like a what they call a trailer for a movie. If your trailer
Right.
whack, nobody gonna see it, right? So I read the back, and I'm gonna read it to you real quick. 2 seconds.
Are we getting the excerpt?
No, y'all getting the real deal. It says Ranger is a time traveling golden retriever in search and rescue and training, right? In his adventure, he goes to a Maryland plantation visiting Kev during an American slavery where he meets a young girl named Sarah. When she learns her owner has plans to sell her little brother Jesse to a plantation in the deep south, it means they could be separated forever. Sarah takes the future into her own hands and decides there's only one way to run up north with Ranger. Now, I immediately got mad. I said, so
Let's break down. So first of all, we got a time traveling dog,
Lassie, a
Golden retriever at that.
a golden
Could be a
retriever
pit
at
bull.
that, that
Could
went
be a
to
pit.
Maryland to tell Sarah that she and her brother would be separated in slavery.
yes, that her brother. Well, no, he wasn't going there to tell her. She knew it was happening, but he was coming to help them escape.
Wow, what a dog.
right? Which is crazy because they used to use the hounds to find us, but that's neither here nor
Right.
there. So I'm like, nah, we not reading this. I was like, absolutely not.
He just made that executive decision. Nah, we know we not
Yo,
going down
listen,
that
I
route.
learned from the best. Y'all already know who taught me what we doing. So
Right.
came to school. Tell your teacher what I said. Like how Kevin Hart gave that little thing. Tell your teacher. Oh, my mom was
Yeah.
way ahead of that joke. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, nah. So I emailed the lady. I said, listen, please email me as soon as possible. I have some concerns about, what it is that you decided to have the class read. So she calls me. So before I get into it, I said, do you decide who reads what, or does that come from somewhere?
Where am I directing my anger?
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
Do
I don't
you
wanna-
get it?
I don't like, targeting the wrong person, because that's a waste. And it falls on deaf ears. And then,
Well, that's a new improves though, because before anybody could get it.
yeah, if you was in the line of fire, take it, right? But I've grown, maturity, right? So I'm like, yo, this is crazy. So I told the lady, I said, listen, here's the deal. When y'all talk about all these other topics, when y'all talk about Chinese, y'all talk about the Ming Dynasty and all this other stuff, Bruce Lee, fun stuff, right? Y'all don't talk about the sweatshops that Nike got back there, paying people 10 cents. And then y'all talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me, right? So I said,
Yo, the kids are not learning about Bruce Lee.
hey, Mike, I don't know. At 8, I knew who Bruce Lee was at 8. Nigga, like, what you talking about, right? So I'm like, all right, whatever, right?
Was she responsible? Was she the one that
No, she
actually
wasn't.
agreed?
She said the
Okay.
board or something. But I think it could be either or. A lot of times when people know they back against the wall, they gotta bounce past.
They
that.
place blame
Yeah.
somewhere
They
else.
squirm. They do.
Like, he
Nah,
not
listen,
gonna-
I didn't choose this.
Yeah. the
Oh
board-
no. Oh no.
Like, I'm not gonna go talk to the board. Like, I'm about to be like that black dude who called that lady out for shopping online. Remember? And he went.
Oh
to the,
yeah. And
Oh yeah.
That's gonna be me. I don't care what nobody say, right? So I said, okay, here's the deal. I'm gonna send you an email with a list of options that you could use for the kids. Because
preferred readings. You give her preferred readings.
I'm like, yo, do you think black people dropped here and was slaves from the first day? Like, maybe in America, but not on Earth, okay? So if you're gonna say black history, and American black history is not about slavery all the time. That's the only thing we did.
No.
So I
No.
said all this to her on the phone. So this is my email, and I'm gonna finalize with this, right? So I added her. I said, I'd like to thank you for our phone conversation earlier today. With all that's going on today in society, having someone just listen to the concerns is a huge start. I also noticed after our conversation, you added hidden figures on the Google Classroom. She paid attention, right? Which was definitely one of the options below. Thank you. If you could definitely pass this on to the board or whomever selects the readings, that would be great. I just want to remind everyone, although limited to 28/29 days, Black History Month is supposed to be a celebration of black culture, accomplishments, achievements, and contribution to this land that we built for free. Slavery is not an accomplishment or an achievement, but for obvious reasons is America's greatest sin that has yet to be repaired and considered one of the greatest contributions in American history because the U.S. economy was literally created due to slavery. A rough topic it is most certainly, and one that I would not bring up or expose if you're not going to dive in thoroughly, which may be too much for these young minds. They're only 8. I completely understand trying to get them engaged with something light, but I hope you can understand my concerns. I also researched Ranger in Time books, the series. And they have a one on D-Day for World War II, Pearl Harbor, and 9/11. But none of them pinch the nerve as a topic as slavery does. Please consider referring the students to these topics and books below and additional readings and instructions. Thank you.
Furthermore, I will blow this whole shit up if you don't listen to my demands.
Word. So
I see when I had took a look at that book. So not only is that book is just
it's not right.
talking about slavery, obviously, which that's not what Black History Month really is about.
Right.
But then, as people pointed out, the author is white, so you have a book talking about slavery during Black History Month that is coming from a white person's perspective. Now, that doesn't mean that a white person can't write about black history.
Right.
Right. But when you think of it as slavery, coming from that perspective, especially when it's that watered down, you have a golden retriever coming back in time. And I think is here, I want to make sure that
This golden retriever.
you know, I understand the like what's going on, right? So you have a book that needs to be geared towards 8-year-olds. Maybe a golden retriever going back in time is easier to digest or easier to read or is at that particular level. So I kind of
Or maybe she just shouldn't cover the slavery topic.
Bingo.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
but I think they should just take that part out and just talk about all the successes that black people have
Right.
and have contributed to America. Because you can't bring up slavery without talking about
Can't get without
like
going
the
with it.
horrific events that
And
transpired.
let's talk about the real person who invented the light bulb, Thomas Edison.
Yeah, you just made some glass, nigga. Fuck out of here. Yo, but look, this the killer though. I think this is the one that got it when I was like, listen, let me explain something to you. I said, you know when I say that, it's about to go down. So I said, when you try to go over slavery lightheartedly, which is not a lighthearted topic, kids grow up to say things like, that was so long ago and get over it. Because they don't think that it's that serious. And
Right.
guess what happens to those kids that say get over it to me or my family?
They get
then
smacked,
and then-
allegedly.
I literally said that to her now, and she was like, no, I understand. I'm like, I don't think you do. But okay.
No, you don't.
Moving along, that was my week.
Well, thank you, Zoe. I appreciate you highlight. First of all, let's give a virtual round of applause. Black fathers are necessary to be able. Parents, check your
Absolutely.
homework, man. Check the homework. Don't let the iPad raise your kids. Contribute. Know what's going on. But so that
all
was
that's coming from people with no kids.
yeah.
You know what the deal, though.
If you don't have kids, take notes.
Yeah. Think twice. You sure you want this? bro?
or nieces and nephews, like, you know what I mean?
you go.
Go over the stuff. But thanks, though. I appreciate that. Chef or James, talk to me about what's going on in the East Coast. A snowstorm, I heard, in my
That's
60-degree
all-
weather.
That's really what it's been about, man. It's just damn snow. I don't even know how much it was. I feel like it was at least like 2 feet.
Damn near.
Ouch.
Like it was a lot of snow. But I've never been more appreciative of like an all-wheel drive car.
Oh my
Driving
God,
in
where's the
the snow.
cha-ching button when you need it? Holy
That's no
shnikes.
cha-ching. Listen, a lot of cars now have all-wheel drive.
I still got
Did your
front wheel.
Saturn did your Saturn have all-wheel drive, James?
My 2001 SC 3-door coupe Saturn did not have
3DZ.
all-wheel drive.
3DZ coupe.
It did not have all-wheel drive, but that bad boy moved though.
James,
Nah, but
James used to
that's
just glide to the traffic light, go real fast, and then don't press nothing.
Kev, is the snow
Oh my
bad
God.
over where you at too?
We got about 4 to 6 inches of snow. That's not too bad, but it's just been
Okay.
snowing for the last 3 days, constantly. But it hasn't been too bad. I actually went to go play in the
Okay.
snow the first day one. Just decided to.
Oh, that's dope. Little couple
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah, brought the dog out, but he wasn't.
He wasn't feeling
He
it.
Ready.
wasn't getting down.
That's cool.
My
nigga, take
man
me back.
Bugs.
Yo, Kev, when you went outside to play, did you do her like Jim Carrey did in Dumb and Dumber, where he hit her like point blank range with the snowball? You got that football arm, nigga. Like that's dangerous.
She started it, and I wasn't even trying to play.
Yeah, like she started it and I'm finishing it.
It always like that. She started it. She hit me. I'm like, all right, now you know how this is gonna have to go.
You know what happens next.
She
You
had-
know
she
what
had a
happens
dog.
next.
She had a dog for safety. like, that was gonna stop me.
I feel like snowball fights should be a part of like couples therapy. It's like, you got on my nerves last week, so I'm gonna need to, you know what I mean?
Nah, I'm going for the rock
Nah.
bottom in the pile of snow.
For James, now your point, yeah, we definitely that was inspired the movement. James and we bought a bunch of stuff for snow outing.
All that stuff we bought came in handy.
Oh, when y'all
What you
went
buy?
Absolutely.
Oh, for
we went to Colorado.
Oh yeah, you took a trip too, right, Kev?
Yeah, we kind of escaped for a couple days.
Where'd you take off to?
And where were we? We was in Denver and kind of
Glenwood Springs.
Yeah,
I think it was called.
Glenwood area.
Y'all went like consecutive weekends.
Together.
No,
Oh, y'all was together?
Yeah.
That's so. Yo, let's talk about this for a second. So, I do a podcast with these guys. You know, my 4 of them each and every week. Every week, yo, I do a podcast with these guys. And if I don't know if you know, but Juxtaposition, but like the geography of America, like Colorado is way closer to California than New Jersey is. So like, I would love to have known that like there was an endeavor popping off. Also, if we want to go there, I've been trying to text Alonzo to go to the Poconos for the last 8 months. He'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna get to it. I called him one day. He said, yeah, I'm gonna talk to Chris, and he was like, it's been crickets. I talk to Zoe every 2 days. And I still haven't heard about the movement. So I just assume that y'all don't fuck with me.
Summertime.
I just assume that y'all don't fuck with me. So I'm just gonna take my ball and go home. That's what it is.
I didn't go to the Poconos without you. They went to Colorado without you.
Nah,
This was planned.
This was like a wedding. This is like a married vibe, couple type vibe. And that the wives put together. Needless to say.
Oh, I like that. That's a great escape. Oh, that was good. That was good, Kev.
He's married. That's what you do. Blame the other. There you go.
But nah, I see. It looked like y'all had a good time. Those snowmobile vibes. I was like, oh, that looked dope.
Yeah, I
That looked
We
dope.
definitely gotta do that again. I'm telling you,
Yeah. Those snowmobiles was fun. I thought I was gonna lose my life, but
So speaking of the wives and the partners, this brings me to my question of the week. The question of the week is, do you get in trouble for using your wife's body wash or shampoo? Tell me about it.
No.
do I get in trouble? No. But do I use it? No.
You don't use it?
I use the shampoo.
When you-
Nah.
when-
I don't use body
Jay, but when you're running low, it's right there.
Oh yeah,
It's
on the
right.
Well, I'm okay, so I can't. Okay, so using it feel like
I
it's
just
like
stank.
it's nah. you
Fuck that. I'm a man.
you using it, I feel like it's like okay, yeah. If you just like you pick your bottle up and like damn, it's empty, and that's all that's right there. Obviously, you have to pick that up. But when I hear using it, it's like you kind of use it more often than you probably
Regular,
should,
you're regular.
right? So, I mean, has it been an occasion? Of course. I mean, this.
Do you tell her though? Do you like, babe? I use your body wash.
But it can only be body wash. So like, I can't like her hair is.
Oh, bar soap.
She got like expensive stuff. Like I can't.
But that's
I'm
what
not
I'm
touching that
saying.
stuff.
Okay, so you know
My
better.
hair? Yeah, for the hair stuff, I'm not touching that.
I
Not
didn't
even
make-
like face wash.
So you know not to. How about you, Zoe? Do you get into?
Not like I got my own. She actually used my stuff more so than I use hers.
Okay.
I don't have like the regular. I get like dial, like plain, cause I feel like I don't wear cologne a lot. I just like to smell clean. But
I
if
get
do
it.
wear cologne, which I have a lot of them, I don't want that to mix with like the different smells.
Okay.
I'll get a
Yeah,
headache.
yeah.
So I'll get like dial or plain Dove or Ivory, something plain. But
Mhm.
I have definitely. I use the shampoo. Her shit is expensive, but I'll be like, fuck it. Like,
See, that's what I'm talking about. When you did, because everybody partner hair got curly hair, so they do the deep conditioning on the weekend. You know what time it is, and if they see that their thing is a little lower than normal, who the first culprit?
No, see,
You.
a lady's not
I mean,
like that. I love my wife for that because I'm like that. I'm the asshole. Like, yo, you been using my soap? Like that's just I got only child syndrome. Sometimes.
Come out the shower with the towel on, like half wet. Like you got out the shower to confront her about
Yeah,
using
word
the soap.
up. Nah, but I do that. I'm the one who's guilty of that. I'll come out and be rude. Like, yo, you running low on the gel cream, like the curl cream. Like, she be like, really? And then don't let me use her soap, not because she know I talk shit. So then she be like, somebody walking around here smelling like pomegranate. And I'm like, yo, chill. Why you gotta talk loud? The neighbors gonna hear you.
Kev, how about you?
So-
You dip into the stash when you get low.
I dipped in today actually.
We talking about soap, yeah. We talking about soap.
Nah, it's funny because I didn't realize that my stash was empty. You know, I got a particular stash, man. I do the black soap. I do the castile type
I know
vibes,
what
like
you-
you know what I mean?
Right.
So like, I ran out. I came out, you know, went to work out today and came out, hopped in the shower, and I'm like, damn, I don't have no more soap. And you know, she's on the body wash vibes. You know what I mean? And I had to crawl in there, grab the body wash. I told her, I said, y'all need a body wash and a face scrub. But I will
She
tell
give
you
you
this.
she give you any pushback? She give you any pushback?
Nah, she knows I don't
Okay.
do that. She knows I was an
Okay.
emergency call. And, you know,
Okay.
Emergency call.
But yeah, I try to keep it simple. Just dipped in today. It's funny you asked that. So I waited until you came around to me to tell y'all. Yeah, today was the day.
That's funny. That's super funny. Cause, yo, if I'm running low, see, I use the Shea Moisture black soap, but I use the body wash joint. Shut up. No,
Palm olives because he ran out.
that's some poor shit, son. That's some
What's up?
poor shit.
Damn.
On.
Sidebar.
Get the
I
dish
don't want to.
soap.
I don't want to get into it. I don't want to get into a tangent, but this is what I'll say about palm olive. When I was a kid, I used to think that that's how you made a bubble bath. Nigga was poor, bro.
Yo, can I?
shit,
No,
yo.
we gonna get into quick tangent,
Hey,
right?
soap.
I got
soap,
cursed out like
any soap makes bubbles. I mean,
Yeah.
soap is soap makes bubbles.
so. I got cursed
Oh
out
my
like
God.
that, right? So
Dishwash bubbles.
when my daughter was
I thought it
first-
was bubbles.
Cause yo, that's what. I mean, if you grew up the type of way, like my dad used to be like, "Look, we gonna make some bubbles. Go get the kitchen soap, whatever." Right.
Right.
So when we had our first child, my Amber went to go take a bath, and I went to go. Lady's like, "Yo, we out of bubbles." So I go in the kitchen. She said, "Where you going?" I'm like, "What?" She was like, "Absolutely not." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "You wash your hands with?" She's like, "Nope, we not." I literally got yelled at, and I was like, "Whatever, yo. You ain't grew up in the hood. Get the fuck out of here."
Hey, yo, man. Thank God for women, yo.
Yeah, she
Thank
couldn't-
God for women.
Absolutely not. I was like, "Oh shit."
I just had to check the temperature because you know. So it seems like y'all have a healthy balance of like. Well, Zoe don't give a fuck, but James and
Nah,
Kev
Zoe
like,
like the Old Spice guy. Just wanna she's like, I just want to body wash of my own.
Word up. Yo, let me ask y'all a question since we on the soap topic real quick, right? This is like a past experience, right? I had experience with a young lady, right? I saw her in the shower, like I had a bar of soap, and she like ain't had no rag or no whatever, and she like used it on her body, right? So I'm like, like you know, kind of like,
Right.
all right, whatever, right? So then she.
Oh, you
goes-
was in the bathroom too?
Correct. But we don't leave it there. So anyway, she like put the soap, like wash her butt and everything with it, right? I'm like, yo, how you gonna put the bar on your butt? She's like, it's soap. Soap can't get dirty. Now, I don't know.
Hold on.
To me, that's weird. Is that
Time
a
out.
thing? I just had a question there. Can soap get dirty? It is soap. You use it to clean dirt.
Soap
but, like,
can get dirty.
to me, that's a
You ever seen a dirty? You I'm sure people seen a dirty bar. of
like
soap.
if you ever shower somebody's crib and you turn, you see a hair, it's like zoom like a TV show.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Oh my God. Soap can't get dirty is probably the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life.
I swear to God.
It's like I know where she coming from, but it's like, shorty,
That's like water can't get wet.
That's why I use body wash. That's why I can't use bar soap. I use body
I use
wash.
both.
Well, I
got
mean, I like bar soap. Like I told you, black soap, bar soap,
Yeah.
but it's my
just feel
soap,
cleaner.
my own soap. If I'm using
Right.
other soap, gotta be body wash soap.
I feel
Or-
that.
If I'm
If-
visiting
yeah.
a person, I bring my own bar. Y'all know I got the
Or
Yeah,
Power.
community is body wash. Community is body wash. Like
community. So
ain't nobody got time for the bullshit. All right, thank y'all for indulging me. I appreciate y'all. So I'm gonna kick it over to Zoe for Zoe knows.
All right, yo, but is that an actionable item? Community versus bar. You know we give the
If you
public-
are traveling, if you are going to a friend's house, don't you dare pick up their bar of soap. You better ask them if they got some liquid.
word up, I will use the sink soap
Yeah.
before I use somebody else's bar soap.
Or
Yeah.
washcloth.
That's just me.
Yeah, see, that's the reason why niggas have washcloths, to take the bar soap and put it on the washcloth and wash your body with that, instead of putting the bar soap between your cheeks.
Yeah, I feel you can't. I'm getting off tangent, but you can't use bar soap and actually like scrub you like the dirt off you. I hope no one really got to scrub that hard to get dirt off them, but you still need a rag.
Something that
Kind of, you know what I
exfoliate,
mean?
right?
Like
An
you need, yeah, you need something to get some of that dead
Preach,
skin
man.
off you.
Sometimes people don't understand
Yo,
them.
these are
They don't
actionable.
get
That's
it.
why I had to say
Magic-
it, bro. Like I'm gonna get to Zonos, but these are actionable items. Like sometimes people are grown; they grow up their whole life and don't know these things, yo. So we have to educate our listeners. The
Oh
Juxtaposition.
my
The
God.
magic of the rag is miraculous.
Don't you feel clean?
Joe, you do. You
Ten-
could
10
your
times.
pores be open.
Listen.
10 times.
So anyway, back to Zonos. Now that y'all got those actionable items from the crew, thank you all. This Zonos for the next couple of weeks is gonna be Black History Zonos.
Black history. We need a jingle.
Word up. We just gotta play I'm Black, y'all.
I'm black, y'all. You do look like Alan Payne too, by the way.
Here you go. Can we go with the Styles P version then? I'm more
True.
with that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to give either an educational person or an event or something that was black related. I'll try to stay positive with more celebratory things, but sometimes I feel like for the education of our Justice League, they might need to know some things that change history. First, we're going to talk about Miss Rebecca Lee Crumpler. That's who I wanted to talk about. And Rebecca Lee Crumpler went to private school in Massachusetts to work on a nursing degree for 8 years. In 1860, she applied to an all-white medical school, the New England Female Medical College, which at that time in 1860, slavery was technically not over yet. She graduated in 1864, so she did 3 years under slave rule, and then that last year she was free. She was the first African American woman physician in the country. And
Whoa.
out of more than 50,000 physicians at the time, only 300 were women, and she was the only black woman.
Wow.
Wow.
So she began in Boston. That's where she's from. But during the Civil War, her practicing came to an end. She started off gearing towards women and children. So she moved to Richmond, Virginia, post Civil War, to work with the Freedmen's Bureau. And the fallen Confederate South was obviously pissed off. They were mad. And,
As usual.
yeah, so to the newly
Per
freed
the
slaves. And she was she had been born in free Delaware. So shout out to Delaware, Joe Biden. That's
Joe
his-
Biden.
Yeah, so we're gonna shout out.
I grew up
current-
5 minutes from Delaware. I still hate Delaware. It's dirty. It's little Philly. Fuck Delaware.
I got
JK.
family in Delaware. Shout out-
JK.
JK.
Shout out to my family in Delaware. But Delaware, which is another black fact, was the highest number of free blacks before the war. So that's something new. And
Take that, Atlanta.
yeah, they late to the party. So she had a passion for helping women and children. She also wrote a 2-part textbook called Medical Discourses, and it was really geared towards infants. And the second part was part of women's health. So that was Miss Rebecca Lee Crumpler, who died in 1895.
Shout out to Rebecca Crumpler. I never heard of her name before, honestly. That's the first time I've ever heard of her.
That's a classic right there. So this next person is is near and dear to me, even though I ain't know him because I wasn't alive.
Who this? I'll be sure.
He made Black History too, but we ain't talking about him yet. So this is Dr. Charles Richard Drew. So I'm
Okay.
going with a medical theme here. Follow my lead.
Okay.
Right?
He's a
So,
Q.
Yeah. Well. Anyway.
Yeah.
So Dr. Charles Richard Drew, because my freshman year I did a project called the Freshman Project when I was in South Brunswick High, that everybody was required to do in order to graduate. And my year, the topic was the person of the century. So I decided. Well, I actually didn't decide. My mom decided for me that you ain't gonna do Martin Luther King, you ain't gonna do Jackie Robinson and all, Rosa Parks and the JFK and the top 5 dead or alive that everybody do, right? So she took me to the Schomburg, the library up in Harlem. I cut up newspaper reels and everything else, and printed them out. And Dr. Charles Richard Drew was the person who I studied, which was the person who helped study blood transfusion and created techniques for blood storage. developed pretty much blood banks in early World
Mm-hmm.
War II, right? So he did a protest against racial segregation of blood donation, which is crazy that people really think that our blood is so much different than theirs that they would actually reject the blood. But that's
Dummies.
neither. Yeah, exactly. So we're not talking about the sharpest tools out there. So when that happened, he decided that he was going to resign from working for the American Red Cross because that was their policy. Their segregation was their policy until 1950. Why 1950? Because traveling to a Tuskegee, Alabama clinic, a free clinic at the John A.
Mm.
Andrew Memorial Hospital, Dr. Charles Richard Drew dozed off with a few guys in the car, kind of like Var we did on the way back from DC. Unfortunately, their car flipped a few times, and his foot he had a lot of leg injuries, and they said his foot was stuck kind of under the pedal, and
Mm-hmm.
he went. They tried to take him to the hospital, but it was Al Malsey in Burlington, North Carolina, the General Hospital, where he died about a half hour later.
Mm.
But they said the myth is that he died because he was denied.
I heard
Um,
that.
so some say it's a myth, some say it's true. I really don't know. I find it more of a believable thing at that time frame that he was the man who created blood transfusions actually died because of him being denied a hospital service to get a blood transfusion. It's just irony. That's the way the world works, right?
Bonkers.
So
Bonkers.
that's Dr. Charles Richard Drew. The last one is Dr. Kizmikia Corbett, who is praised as the key scientist behind the COVID-19 vaccine. She's from North
Oh, so this
Carolina.
is this is Black History happening right now.
Today, yes. I brought it to current day, fellas. National Institute of Health. She studied from '09 to 2014 antibody responses to virus. And now look how that worked out. All that hard work in school, she helped us get some COVID-19 vaccine. And she was already verified. Like, you know how you Twitter verify and all that?
Mm-hmm,
She was
mm-hmm.
verified by Dr. Fauci. So,
Hey, okay. So that means that she got an IG.
yeah,
So,
shout out to
yo,
Mrs.
your little sleaze
Dr.
balls.
Corbett.
I'm trying to slide in her DMs. Um, but nah, that's amazing because I think that people like that may be remembered. Like the fact that we're living in a time where people are contributing directly to the virus or the one of the most impactful times of our lifetime is pretty amazing. So shout out to her. What's her name again?
Kizmikia Corbett. I'm probably pronouncing her first name wrong, but I'm just going based off of the phonetic spelling.
All right, bet.
Dr.
So yeah,
Corbett.
man, we're gonna be Dr. Corbett. There you go. That's easier. We'll be providing y'all with Zono's Black History all month. You know, little known Black facts, some things you may know, some details we may be adding. Yeah, appreciate that, Zo. So as we transition to our main topic this week, I want to let you know this podcast would be successful if we are able to dispel myths about Black-owned businesses. Y'all all have heard Black-owned businesses are this, Black-owned businesses are that, and all of us except for Alonzo are here to dispel all the myths that lie within Black-owned businesses, despite the fact that Alonzo owns a couple businesses himself, and he in fact is Black. So let's dive in. Let's dive in. So you know what, Zo? I have a
I'll go
direction that I
last.
want to go.
Oh,
Okay. 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 All right. So myth number one. Some people always feel that Black people have bad customer service. Do we feel that Black people have bad customer service, or do some Black people have higher expectations of their own when experiencing a Black business?
Well, I'm gonna jump in on this real quick and just give you my
Let's do
thoughts
it.
and my perspective real quick. I think it's unfair to compare big corporations to small mom and pop shops for the
I love
idea of lack of resources. So in most cases, when you're dealing with a Black-owned business, you're dealing with it at its most. If we're putting years as establishing like 10 years, it's still lack of resources in a lot of ways. So the support system and support mechanism is not going to be there to provide you that fast delivery like McDonald's, for an example.
Right.
So Yeah, it's been a trending thing, and I'll jump in as far as and just the culture, right? The culture of black businesses and the culture of us, and I'll dive in a little slots, a little more narrower, and I'll say the Caribbean culture is even more. Um,
Oh, I got some heat for them.
Oh, I don't know if y'all caught that. Kev, I seen that off the back to Zoe. I seen it. I seen it off the glass. I seen it.
Thanks for this. Go
but
ahead.
it's one of those things that we experience what we experience, and I'm gonna leave it right there for right now. I'm gonna come back, but I'm gonna leave it right there. I'm gonna say that the lack of resources is our stunt growth. And
You know what, Kevin? You make a fantastic point. But before I give my perspective, I feel like Alonzo has something to say about the Caribbean aspect of your answer. So, Alonzo, did you have anything else to add in regards to the Caribbean aspect of Kevin's answer?
Yes. Kev is definitely Caribbean, so he has more genetic stain to speak on it than I do. But based off of a video that I posted not too long ago on Instagram, I don't know if I completely agree with Kev with depending on what it is and what the product or service is, our expectations are just too far fetched, right? With some things. However, some of the resources, so to speak, have nothing to do with some of their customer service practices. You know what I mean? I'm just saying it like that. Because like saying hello to a customer that comes into the establishment has nothing to do with your resources. That comes from you, like addressing them in a certain manner, or I just sent y'all a clip from Major Hype where he was trying to order the food, and they just kept answering the phone, and he was standing right in front of them.
Like, yo, I'm right here. I see the food in front of me. I see it.
All you gotta do is grab and scoop. That's not necessarily resource, because the stuff that I want is right. The resource is there. It's right in front of me. So I just think sometimes we take each other for granted. Like, you're here already. You're gonna get what you want, whatever. And it's just like a slow moving pace. But I just think sometimes we take our own dollar for, we don't appreciate it as we should.
James, as a black man, how do you feel about Zoe's stance on let's start with Caribbean restaurants, because we all love to frequent them.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, obviously Caribbean restaurants in general don't speak for all black businesses, and one Caribbean restaurant don't speak for all Caribbean restaurants or anything like that.
Take that,
But
Alonzo.
Although
we know like the preconceived notions and all the memes or the little the satire videos we see online always talks about, if you go to like a Caribbean restaurant or like a Jamaican restaurant or something like that, you try to order something, half the time, or a lot of the times they don't have half the things on the menu. So it's like, get so upset you just leave at that point. But that's obviously, there's obviously some truth to that, because there wouldn't be so many videos to it, but that's not the norm.
Talk about it.
Yes, it happens. I think obviously it happens, right? And it could be a good thing. It could be that they're selling out of the food that they have, and they just don't have any more for that day. Because, for me anyway, Caribbean food in general is popular. I like it. I enjoy it. So that might be the reason. But when you go to like one particular restaurant in your neighborhood or that's close to your house, and you realize that not every day, but every time you go there.
Like, how do you run out of jerk chicken? It's called the Jerk House. Why don't you have it?
I'm like, I'm only coming here for the oxtails, and every time I come here for the oxtails, I never got oxtails. Like, what is going on? Right? And that makes sometimes you be like, I'm just not gonna go back.
Gotta get up early. Gotta get up early.
Now you
See?
no,
You gotta be in line like Jay's.
You know what, Kev?
Well,
they tell you gotta wait an hour because it ain't ready yet.
Nah, yeah, that's crazy. Then don't be open then. Like, you know what I mean?
See how you got mad?
Or they're
Don't be
not
open.
Listen,
Closed.
or they're not open. No, or they're not open.
Like, nah. Like, hold on, guys. The ox just came. We gotta detail it. So give us a second.
No, like you're at like no. It's like I used to go when I used to live in my other house before I sold it, and in town there was a Jamaican restaurant, and it was hard to catch them open. Like, you go on a Wednesday at 4:30 in the afternoon, and they're I'm like, what is going on? Like this is I wanted some oxtails, and I'm like, why are y'all always closed?
But
Because it's a
see,
cover up.
But nonetheless, no, obviously doesn't speak for all businesses. That's obviously a satire. It's a joke. Clearly, it happens. But I do think that we put higher expectations on black-owned businesses as black people.
Yes.
For ridiculous reasons.
Right.
Right? We don't think that because they're black-owned, they shouldn't cost so much, or we should get some type of discount because we're black and you're black.
Right.
And right. So because we don't get that, then we give a bad review, or the quality is not as good, or this and that. So we kind of put that on ourselves and I don't know the reason behind it, right? But I think that's why black-owned businesses kind of get that rep of giving poor service, is because we can't live up to these ridiculous expectations that us as black people put on our own black-owned businesses.
So I heard you and Alonzo speak. And I want Var's opinion too before I really give my whole disclaimer. But Var, what's your experience been on
The Caribbean food. You talking?
highlight yeah.
As a black-owned business.
With black-owned
So
businesses?
I have a lot more patience and understanding for the lack of scale that happens when you are going with a mom and pop spot, particularly if it's black owned. So sometimes I feast. I'm like, oh, I can taste the whatever, fill in the blank. I can taste the whatever on my way there. And if they don't got it, I'm a little tight inside. But like, I kind of understand, because it's like they're operating with shoestring budgets. Resources, like you mentioned before, aren't there. I try not to give black-owned businesses a hard time, because these days I own my own black-owned business, so I know how the operations go, and sometimes the pieces ain't put together, or you are trying to put the pieces together and your partners aren't as resourceful as you want them to be. So I try to give grace. I try to give grace when dealing with a black-owned business.
So I bring that up because with sounds like with Zoe's experience, sounds like I'll just use the video as an example. When he came to order and his phone's ringing, he didn't have the support. There was no one else there to answer the phone. Like, he's the only one working. So it's funny. It's funny in that way, because it's like that's the reality of it. Like, he's wearing probably multiple hats, right? So that's where my understanding can be at times now. But I don't excuse bad customer service. Not
Right.
I don't excuse bad customer service, but I kind of give grace for, like things that happens. So people are just starting their businesses, probably the first of their family to start, or it was passed down. It was passed down with a limited amount of resources. And one of the things about business is what I learned is that if you're gonna pick it up on the fly, this doesn't really give you time to expand and correct on the fly, because you're just in the weeds of the day to day. And when you're caught up in the day to day, you're just trying to get by. You're just trying to make it. You're trying to pay the bills. You're trying to take care of the house. It's just, we deal with a lot more stress, man, than the average owner, essentially. And there's a lot of stress and pressure. So with that anxiety, with that type of pressure that I could imagine that black people probably deal with more, it probably does trickle down in just the personality at times, and just the culture. So
I think that's a good point. That's a good point, Kev, because I think that what you just said about you in another, maybe even in another mom and pop spot, the owner probably chooses to lean in more, whereas they might not have to, but more often than not, in a mom and pop spot of a black owned business, they have no choice but to lean in, either in the back cooking, or they in the front on the register, or on the phone. It's like that's their day to day. So Alonzo, after you heard of all of us speak, do you have a change of heart, or are you still on the bandwagon?
I don't. Let me tell you why, right? I agree with Kev. Like, I've been in some places where it was like, damn, they the only person there, cool. But then at some point, you got to prioritize, like, the people in front of you, you got to get them in and out. You know what I mean? Especially if what they asking for is sitting right there. Boom.
That's the part.
Get them in and out. The call, take the order, boom. But I got to get this person in and out. And on top of that, I feel like the historical fact is this. I think it came from when we was all segregated, right? Since we on Black History, right? We was only allowed to use our own. right? So we were forced in that situations, whether they were good quality or not, whatever the case may be, we was forced in. And I feel like somewhere in that we got kind of like, I could overcharge whatever I want. I could say whatever I want. I could do whatever I want because you subject to me. You're stuck.
Do you really think so? I mean, I have a question that I want to pull from that, but like it'll deviate us crazy. I'm gonna save the question because I think that that's a good direction that I want to go. But the second half of the question, the initial question was like, do you feel like black people are unnecessarily tough on our own when it comes to our own products, service, and stores? And why even? Why is that the case?
So I think we are. My explanation, my rants are not unnecessary tough because that means for me to get to the rant, I done waited a minute. Like I'm like, all right now, like yeah, I hit you with an all right now.
All right now.
Yeah, I walked past the nigga a couple times, register, like hello, I'm here.
Yerp.
By the time I get to that, it's like it's happened one too many times. Like James said, it's the same spot all the time. You know what I mean? You telling me you don't got this, you don't got that, then why is your doors open? You don't got nothing that's the popular items. You know what I mean? So that's like prior preparation to me. But I do understand as a black business owner, sometimes I face, like we were talking about, the whole discount thing. That's also devaluing.
Oh no, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
But because we, like you said, we expect our expectations. I don't even know if our expectations is high that we expect this elegant and elaborate service.
Nah, take yourself out of it. Like remove the Alonzo filter and think about the masses. If you see comments on Instagram or you hear your friends, like, why do we feel as if when we're interfacing with us and our businesses, we have, like Kev said, if there is an independent company, they expect it to operate like the mass market's counterpart. It's like the reality is if it's one location, they're not going to operate like Nike, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that we obviously put that high expectation, and I mean, right? So you're not really going to know unless you poll a bunch of people to try to, figure out what their thought process is. But for me, what I think is the fact that we, I guess, as black people, want our black businesses to be successful, and we hold them to a higher standard, because maybe if you can treat a black person with such poor quality at a black owned business, right, you might treat everyone else and then might give black people a bad rep from the other races, if you will.
Yeah, but
right?
Is it poor quality actually?
Well, that's what I'm saying, but that's in our minds. That's what we're telling ourselves, because if we go to these other mass produced or larger chains, say restaurant, right, and what we got from them was maybe something superior than what we got from a black owned business who only have 2 employees,
right,
but no one's looking at it that way, right? So if you go into a business, no matter what business it is, whether they got 1 employee or 100 employees, your expectation is to have good service,
right? 100%,
no matter what. So if you go into a small business that happens to be black owned and they only have 1 employee working, and that 1 employee is overwhelmed, you're not feeling empathetic for that particular employee. You only see it from your point of view because consumers are selfish.
I'm here for
right.
what I
They
want.
expect.
Okay. Now that's a good point.
They demand what they want.
Now, when you are the consumer as a black person going into a black establishment, should you have grace or empathy? Now, let me give this caveat. We're assuming that the product is good. The product is good, right? So if it's Papa John's versus Tyrone's Pizza, right? Tyrone's Pizza is still fire. It's still good, but maybe it's a little longer. It takes a little longer to get, or maybe the phones are backed up, or whatever, what have you. Is it still fair to treat Ty's Pizza like shit if you feel like they don't operate as efficient as Papa John's?
Well, I don't think it's like shit, right? I'm sorry. So real quick, and I'm gonna let you go, Zoe. It's not about treating them like shit, which I don't think you should ever do. You should never go on, and it's for any business. People shouldn't be on Yelp degrading someone's business. That's just ridiculous.
Right.
Like that
black
whole
people don't
idea,
use Yelp.
well, I mean, wherever, Google, doesn't matter, right? You
Right.
shouldn't do that, right? Facebook, Instagram, whatever the case is, you shouldn't do that. If you had a bad experience, just don't go back, right? But even though Tyrone's Pizza food might be good, you still expect service.
Right.
I still expect to be waited on at a proper time. And as a consumer, as I said, consumers are selfish,
Right.
especially nowadays. It's not just millennials. People in general, they want to be in and out of places, regardless of what the situation is. So I think and as black people, when we find out that it's black owned, that stigma's already in their mind. They're like, here we go again.
That's the part that I hate so
right.
much.
Right?
I hate it too.
Let me tag on that with James. Like, I agree with him on that because it doesn't matter. You want your service, right? Because when we talk about food and waiting, like, yo, bro, we go to food trucks. You want to talk about resources? They stuck with whatever they got in the spot, and one. Or two,
I mean, yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And you get your stuff way faster than you would a full restaurant with one or two, people. I've yet to see just one person in the whole.
And maybe this is my fault. Let's elevate the conversation from just food because
No, I'm about to get there. I'm about to get there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like,
okay.
So my thing is this. It doesn't necessarily matter to me personally as a consumer. You know me. As much as I talk smack about it, I talk my shit because I indulge and spend my money, waste it sometimes, piss me off because I go the extra mile to support us. So that's why I get so aggravated and upset because, yo, I'm really going out of my way a lot of times that I don't have to go ahead, and this is what I get back. Y'all don't, like I said, respect the dollar. But I'm going to tell you, 90% of it comes from,
Whoa, 90 is high. I don't even know where you're going.
90% is the attitude of the person
large.
when you in the spot. You see these people, I don't care attitude, talking crazy, sucking their teeth, talking under their breath. I'm not saying
Hey, yo.
everybody, but a lot of times.
Hey, yo,
that's
Alonzo Whitlock. I can't let you keep doing
No,
this.
it's not Whitlock, bro. That's a dead ass shit. I went today. I would tell you my story today, but I don't want to take up all the time. I went into a spot today. This was a security school. You know what I mean? For firearms. This ain't nothing to do with food. And the way Shorty talking is so crazy. You know what I'm saying? On the phone.
Maybe she had a bad day. It's COVID.
No. On the phone, and then like you on the phone talking however you talking, but then like you look at me like, "What's up? What's up? The fuck is we talking? We on the street, bitch." I'm like, "What are we doing?"
Kev, we can't keep letting Alonzo keep taking a black man down
I'm
all
not,
podcast. I need some
still
help,
spend my
Kev.
money, but y'all not helping me here. Like they not helping me. Prove me wrong. I want to be proven wrong.
He's not wrong with that point. I mean, I do understand where he's coming from in terms of just the culture and dealing with certain type of mood and attitudes and behaviors that sometimes are uncalled for. It's not to knock the black businesses as much as the person at work. Sometimes you just have somebody who's not the owner who's just going to be disrespectful at a black
Correct.
company, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting because I think as conscious people, I would call us conscious. I would say in that scenario, it's probably best served to, I don't want to say match her energy. I don't want to say get just as disruptive she is. But in some weird case, sometimes you got to do people's job. And it's going to take this conversation to a whole nother turn. I don't agree with her behavior, but something to say about mitigating the situation at the time to the best of your ability as conscious individuals. I guess that brings the next question. If somebody's wilding out, how do we diffuse that?
And what
Diffuse
context?
it as a customer?
At work.
If I'm the customer,
We're the customer. But we're black.
Oh,
right?
I'm just
Meaning,
leaving.
I'm just saying, like, right, maybe it's,
it
I
depends.
understand you have a bad day today. That could be the case. Like, maybe that's an opportunity to tap in. I'm not saying that we should have to do that. I'm just saying.
But that's the thing,
what
Kev.
if-
We don't have to
what
do
if
that.
we
no
go
way.
extra
I,
For
mile?
y'all-
I refuse.
For y'all that
I
can't
gotta
see,
be a fucking
James is
therapist
shaking
while
his
I'm
head.
ordering a Popeye's chicken
No.
sandwich. I gotta be a therapist.
Listen, I
while I'm ordering a
refuse.
sandwich.
When we went to I refuse. Like if I go into, I don't care where it's at. If I go into a place and like you immediately give poor service, I just leave.
Yeah,
I mean,
like-
yeah, that's.
I mean,
I might do like
black
Kevin.
black businesses.
Yeah.
Black
I might
businesses.
say,
I'm
yo,
saying,
you
like,
alright?
how do
Even
we-
black owned
Hold on,
businesses. I'm leaving.
hold on, Kev. Now, Kev, define wild out. Like, what is the black owned business doing? What is the person doing?
Someone has an attitude. So we go into a restaurant.
Okay.
Has to get seated, and
Right.
she's she's blinking at you as if she got something in her eye, right? And you
Right.
ask her, "Hey, miss, I'm sorry, but I don't want to sit here. Can we move?"
Right.
Now she's blinking 1,000 times. She give you the Nicki Minaj thing, right? She's doing that.
Oh yeah,
one time.
we leaving. We leaving.
And then
Yeah.
but she's just a
I'm out.
hostess, right? She's not.
She's
not
representative.
She is, but the food is
Yeah.
fire though, right?
I might
Listen,
say, but I'm gonna get Karen on him and tell the manager like, yo, she not a good representation of you.
But here's
Nah.
something. Here's something that okay. Now this. I'm not gonna take a hard left, but sometimes people feel like white ice is colder. The same scenario can happen in a white establishment, and people will give them the grace. They may leave that time, but they will be back. And the thing is, the grace isn't really extended to black-owned businesses. Not only do you leave, but you go ahead and talk shit to kind of diminish the reputation of this business and the
That's what I don't
value.
like.
But that's the thing that happens to our businesses at all times, and it goes back to what Kev was saying. If we're not at scale yet, but we're operating in a good space right now, bro, we can't forget it's COVID. People who ain't get PPP loans or is bootstrapping it, they ain't really got everything they need. But I feel like rain, shine, sleet, or hail, black people expect black people to be on top at all times. It's like, no, that is not how it goes. If this was like, Do the Right Thing. If the listeners have never seen Do the Right Thing, just watch Do the Right Thing. But
How about
go
this for
ahead.
you? When Popeyes,
Go ahead, Kev.
When Popeyes had the chicken sandwich, right? And it
Perfect
came
example.
out, okay, and they didn't have any. Right?
They ran out.
Pull up, they ran out. They come to you, and what we do? We come back the next day.
And the hype grew. The hype grew.
Well, though, you can't act
But-
like
and
there
it
wasn't
grew by
news stories of
black
people getting
people.
stabbed and fucked up in the because they have it. So
The service part of it, that is what it is. Like it doesn't matter what the situation is. It doesn't take a lot to smile and say hi, thank you. And the thing about it is, once, like, let's say for a greeter, once you sit them and they're like, nah, I don't want to see it, can we move somewhere else? Sure, no problem. You sit them somewhere else. You go to your back and you complain to your coworker. This motherfucker always want to move. Like, you know what I mean? And then you come back out with a smile. Like, you just don't do that in front of the customer, right? It doesn't take much to smile and say thank you. And a prime example, and again, this is not even about a black business. This is just an example for white business. When we were in Colorado, we were trying to find a place to go to dinner. And we happened to go to this one place we thought we were going to go inside.
It was whites
and the
only?
hostess, I looked like it. The hostess, who was a white gentleman, as we come in, was extremely rude. And then got to the point where he was like, oh, the menu's outside. Go out there and look to see what you want, and then you can come back in and order. I said, nope, I'm out. Like, I didn't eat there. I found another restaurant right next door, and I went in there and bought the food that I wanted.
And it was
I was
Jamaican.
like, I refuse.
And it was Jamaican.
And it was a Jamaican spot.
Oh, okay. So we did y'all a favor.
yep. And
I
James
was
just
like,
got
I'm
his
not-
order delivered yesterday.
No, see?
On that note, we're gonna shift gears. We gotta shift gears.
Nah, let me say one thing, right? Kev brought something up that I want to go with him. Is that from a person that has employees, right? This is where I understand the black businesses that sometimes, being that they're not the owner, they don't care. Like Kev said that, like, that's true,
Right.
bro. Because I
They're
said, I
representative.
told y'all a text like how I gotta talk to people, like, really, bro? Like, I pay you for this, I pay you. Like, you don't take it serious because it ain't yours. It's like when you lend somebody something. You know what I mean? They don't take as
Right.
good care of it because it ain't theirs. So I do understand that from the owner's perspective, because I have employees that don't take stuff serious, and it drives me insane. And I'm like, you're gonna be the death of me, and then now me and you gonna have to square up in the street, like, cause now you're adding to that stereotype and that stigma that I'm trying to fight against, that I complain about myself, but I'm trying to fight. But so I do understand that in some cases, because I think that's probably why I'm a little harder, because I am an employer and have employees. And I'm like, well, is this person not paying attention or talking to their people? Like,
Nah, but you also can know how one bad apple can spoil the batch. You know that it's not you. You're the owner, so you know that your representative can be not on his game at one point in time,
but
and it doesn't represent you.
say one thing too? I think a lot of times too, I don't want to just pin black businesses because I don't think, like you said, it's not all like that. Because even some of these mainstream establishments,
They're
in the hood-
trash.
No, but a lot like you see the videos, you see people fighting all type of wild shit, like they wilding out in these, certain neighborhoods. So it's certain things that just drive me insane, and I'm like, yo, this is your bag, this is your money. I don't care if it's a lot, little, whatever. Then don't be here. You know what I'm saying? And ruining everybody else's day because you got a bad day. I just came for a damn
Right.
chicken sandwich, and you talk about because whatever issues you got going on. It's a catch-22 because as a business owner, I feel like as a black business owner, people don't take it as serious either. Like you said, the discount, they always want something. So
Yeah.
it's a tough. It's just like a seesaw. You don't know which way you're gonna go with it.
So it's safe to say that myth one has not been dispelled. Thank you, guys. Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate you all so much.
No, I think it has. I think it has.
Moving on to myth number two. In terms of black-owned businesses, that products and services are of poor quality. Why is it that black people feel as if the quality that we have in our products is poor? You know what? I'm starting with this one. It's not. That's trash. That's a terrible take, and I think the expectation of black people should be that the quality is going to be on par for what you paid. If you paid $15 for a hoodie, you're going to get $15 worth of a hoodie. If you paid X amount of dollars for a hoodie, you should be able to get that quality in advance. But when you do not get that quality that you think that you pay for, then to me, as from black to black, just don't shop there. And if you want to tell your people, like, yo, fam, like, nah, they're not really holding it down, they're overpriced. Because if I keep it real, the product that I have, my hoodies, are better quality than Bape. That's going to run you $250 for a hoodie, right? But they'll, like I mentioned, the people, Nego, whoever was Pharrell and them, they don't own Bape no more. White people own it. So white ice is colder. They feel like because the thing has a certain name or prestige that it's better. I'm off my soapbox, but what I'm saying is when there are products and services that you feel like aren't up to code and quality, then I feel like from black person to black person, you stop being a patron, but you don't go on the internet and blast them.
Correct.
My
And can
personal
I add
opinion.
also, you tailor what is your expectation? Like, am I here to support? Whether it's good
That's a
quality,
good point.
bad quality.
That's a good point.
Like I walk down sometimes 125th and Lenox, like the dude at the table, I don't expect the quality to be good. Sometimes you might strike a deal. Like I didn't have some Walmart hoodies that last for a long time, but
Right.
I'm getting my oils or whatever the hell I'm getting at the table. My man got. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just doing it for support. I'm not really. My expectation is under promise and over deliver. You know what I mean? So I was under
Yes.
and then be happy and surprised, and then whatever.
Undersell, over deliver. Yep.
Exactly. So I think a lot of that comes from people also like like you said. What you said? Light ice, white ice, something like that. Like,
Some people
White
will
ice
feel
is
like
colder.
white ice is colder.
that's where we have a problem. Is a culture for us. This is all historical. I keep trying to tell you, you have to go back because it's a psychological thing that keeps getting passed down over and over. It's the fact that we couldn't have certain things that we look at that as more valuable because we were blocked from it.
Right.
So therefore,
Right.
we're like, oh, that got to be something, or this Versace, Tommy Hill, or Coach, and whatever bags, Fendi.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But that's the thing. Do y'all feel, and I want Kevin James' opinion on this, do we feel that product for product, black products are weighed on the same scale of quality? Or do you think that it's a different scale?
So this is the thing, right? And with backlash or whatever, it doesn't matter. I tend to see, from my own personal experiences, from different people who have different stuff, is that, and this goes from everything, the people who sell dinners, right? People who clothes,
dinners,
people
baby.
who have like whatever, like they think sometimes that they need to be charging $25 for a platter, right? That you can get the same exact food cooked the same way for $12, right? And then it's like, oh, well, the quality on mine is better. Like no, like I'm sorry, but just because you saying that you charging $25 or you're gonna charge $50, and well, this is my price, you're gonna pay what you pay. No, because not 9 times out of 10, I can't speak for that much, but the quality is not always there. There's some normal stuff that you just overpricing, and your margins are great. Like your margins are large, and that's fine. You charge whatever you want to charge, but I'm not paying for that, right? And that's my issue. Is that I feel like people they overprice themselves,
right?
Because they just think that I can price whatever I want to price, and then get upset when people don't support it.
But also, if we think about the sneakers we buy, it's probably costs about $10 to make, and they resell to us for $150, and the quality is not even real leather. So like,
but there's more to it than that.
Why you ain't buy no Starberries, Var?
Because I was broke.
It costs that. It might cost $10, like total at a
Sweatshop
at the sweatshops, right? But there's more to it. So they got to pay the advertising exec, the advertising manager, the sales team.
Right.
They got to pay the CEO. They got to pay their overhead. It's more to that sneaker than just that $10, right? That it costs at the sweatshop, I should say. And I'm not saying that their margin is still not great, charging $190 for the pair of sneakers. Their total cost might be $25, $30 for that sneaker. So I'm not saying that, right? But when you have also, because intangible value, it also plays a part in that, right? So their brand that you're also paying for, there's a cost to that, right? They have a trademark that they pay for. So that's part of it too. And unfortunately, when you have a small business, black, white, whatever the case is, and you're new, you don't have that value yet. You haven't built that part of it.
Right.
So you can't add that into your price. But I'm not saying that you can't pay for quality, because now when you're charging a certain price and you get it and you see the quality of it, 100% is worth it.
Right.
And I get that part. But you have to show that. You have to show the quality of your product if you're having that type of price tag. I think there's more to it.
If it's chicken for chicken, then yes, I'm sorry.
I'm not going paying $25 for a normal plate.
If it's chicken for chicken, then like
$12.
Fries in the box.
But for me as a small business owner of a clothing brand, I have to disagree, yo, because
do you not show your products? Do you not show the quality of your products?
I do.
Do you not highlight those patches that you're putting on there?
I do. But that's the thing.
Versus a screen-on iron shirt for $50.
That's okay. Okay. See, in that case, I feel you. I feel you. But
it cost me $18. The hoodie was like $9 at Walmart.
But if you're selling them, you're not gonna sell it for $18, right?
You just do.
No. You're not gonna sell it for 18. You're not gonna sell it for 18.
Because that's what I'm.
It's capitalism. We still live in a capitalistic society, right? You still want to make money.
No. I get it. But what I'm saying is, sometimes depending on where you are in your business, you have to promote. Promotions by way of Facebook ads, Instagram ads, what have you, may play a part into why their product costs a little more. I feel you. For an iron-on hoodie from Joe Schmo around the corner, most people won't pay $50 for an iron-on anything. But like I mentioned, Nike, Adidas, you will buy that shit, and the quality may not even be that great, and people they're happy with it. But it's a catch-22. Kev, where do you stand on this in terms of, do you think their products, but from black-owned businesses to mainstream businesses, are valued product to product, or you think it's a little more added?
That's a loaded question, but on the surface of it, I'll say that it's a perception type of mechanism, type of thing, right? Because if I tell you that this is purchased from Nike, then you can have a different experience and a different expectation versus if I tell you this is FUBU. And it's just expectation, like it takes unfortunately, if for it to be kind of like status quo, or for it to fit in the status quo, for us to be like, all right, this is accepted. You know what I mean? Like, on a local level, I'd say like it just depends. Like, if your question is black businesses charge high quality products and get away with it, of course. I mean, if your product is solid, then it's solid. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're black, white, or blue. If you got a good product and it sells and it's valuable, then people are gonna buy it. I think the biggest thing that black-owned businesses face, and I'm gonna go again and just talk about just resources, right? We're talking about and resources not just means cash and assets like that. Talk about the intangible stuff too, like go as far as financial literacy. Talk about education. Talk about experience. It's like it can kind of build up when you really unravel the idea of what we lack and things that we experience that can kind of affect our way that we do business. But I mean, I think we're one of the most powerful beings on this planet. But I think when give us direction and structure, then I think we can do anything successfully. In a lot of ways, our infrastructure is very limited in the beginning, and we're just trying to build up this case, until we can build success in our own way of doing that in our own mind. So it just depends. Like, I don't think that we have an issue having high quality products. I think we can have high quality products and we can charge for the quality, and that shouldn't be questioned. If it's valuable, then people will find this market and it'll be weighed, and people will buy it. People will make sense of it.
And I wanted to highlight the fact that myth number 3, which is that our products are overpriced, has been conflated with myth number 2. So we're just going to have this whole conversation.
But Fubu was in the early 2000s. They was charging the same as Anichi and Tommy Hill and everybody else.
But they also have the budgets to substantiate their reach.
Got there though. They did get there. Sean Jones.
No, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? But this is what I'm saying. Like, now Fubu is you get there was the Walmart jump offs. Like, you know what I'm saying? But there was a time where Rockaway or whatever. I mean, we had black brands that was flourishing at one point in time.
Now, like you said, so when you think about budget and their reach, so when you have larger businesses like that, they have a reach that small black businesses or small businesses in general don't have.
Right.
And what I mean by they're able to create contracts or partnerships with people overseas, wherever country they're in,
global
to produce
reach
these products at a much lower cost. So I understand that part of it, right? So they can charge maybe a little bit less, maybe have a little bit better quality, because their actual production cost of that is a lot cheaper than someone who has to buy 50 shirts at a wholesale price,
Downtown.
maybe here in the US.
Shut up.
And then start making whatever they're going to put on them. So I understand the fact that people need to charge a little bit more because they're making a little bit more. But you have to understand that when you're starting out as a business, you need to fully understand your costs. And then you need to fully understand who your customer base is. Your customer base is not going to just be black people, right? However, when you understand your costs, you understand your customer base, then you can figure out what price you need to charge. That price doesn't have to be, when you start out, of margins of like 60, 70, 80%.
That's right? Yeah.
That's the thing. So you can't just jump out the gate.
Because you have to understand you're not Nike either. You're not Nike either.
You're not there.
Right.
You have to build that brand, and you have to build a brand that you can show and highlight the quality of your product.
Right.
No one's going to just take your word for it, right? But now we have social media. We have Instagram. You can go Instagram Live, Facebook Live. You can actually have these iPhones with 4K cameras that can highlight your product and put that out to the masses, so that when you are charging that premium price, you can show this is a premium product. Right. People are afraid to spend their money on products that they feel is going to be inferior. Now, I think it's true that black people think black-owned businesses have inferior quality for whatever reason.
Yes.
It's that stigma that's out there, and it sucks. It does. Every black-owned business does not have a inferior quality product to the next person, and that can be to large corporations or to the next small business. However, that stigma is there. So since it exists, we unfortunately, as we always do with everything else, we have to work a little bit harder. We have to promote our brand just a little bit harder to showcase the quality of our product so that it sells. And then when you start selling and creating that brand, as you introduce new products to your line, you can start raising your prices.
Right.
Shout out to Kev for saying, like, that's financial literacy and also like business literacy. Like that kind of is what James just described.
Yeah, I mean, but the only thing that I don't think we consider from a global perspective or from a general perspective is like people are dealing with higher expenses than other people. So when I say that some big companies are really just promoting their brand, it's not so much about the profits because they can sustain their lifestyle without surviving off the finance of the business, and that's two
Right.
separate entities. You feel what I'm saying? Like some people can actually like grow $1 million worth of product sales and have expenses worth $700,000, $600,000, $800,000 and only net 200, and then pay and walk away with 20, 30K and be completely okay with that because ultimately like they did what they wanted to do with the business was to put it out and reach, get a lot of sales, get exposure, and where the other person, they may not have that financial structure or support. Like every dollar is pretty much going back into to sustain the person. Like it's just a different ballpark when you look at big business and small business, So I just think that going back to like the disadvantages that black people as a culture have to face, it translates into business. It translates to anything that we're going to be involved in because we have to consider the socioeconomic person, not the person, but the background, that the story that speaks of the person, right? And we have to kind of be more mindful of that.
Let me just add that the person too, because I had posted like last week about I was with one of my dudes and we trying to invest in the black owned business. I had a video, I was with somebody, I was saying, yo, what's up with people? I wouldn't even talk about black business. I said just people in general. Today I feel like 90% of people just don't have follow up, right? Or follow through, both of them, depending on what it is, the product or service. I was with one of my future colleagues, like we're doing business together and we're developing an office and building an office, and he wanted some windows tinted but white tinted instead of black tinted, and he paid a deposit $400. They told him it was $800. They would be there 3 days in a row. They don't show up, right? And he's calling, and then the lady's they playing the ducking my phone call game, not mine but his. So it's to the point where I was next to him and said, yo, call this number real quick. And I don't know, you know what I'm saying? And then I call a number that, of course, they pick up because it's not on their regular. And then he explains the whole story to me afterwards. And I'm like, oh, my God. Like, so that day, I witnessed the girl say, yo, they're going to come there about 5 o'clock. I drive from Brooklyn. I get all the way home. It's 6:30. I said, yo, did they come? He said, absolutely not. Not a chance in hell. So now, like, it's like, damn, like, you know what I'm saying? We're making the effort. That's the part that's killing the people. A lot of people, I'm not going to lie to you, Var, they just talking, they smack just to talk or whatever. But I am actually in the trenches trying to give people every opportunity. Like,
No, I get that. So as we are, because I think that's an important component as well. The fact that folks are trying to support black businesses where we should be putting our energy. And like we can literally talk about this forever. But as we wrap up this topic, I'm going to give us a chance to have our actionable items and give love to black owned businesses that we actually support. Here's what I'll say about one of the things that black people spend money on the most, which is garments and clothes, which is my industry, right? The thing that I want people to know is that your favorite companies are not making their garments. They are not constructing a hoodie, putting the arms in. They are outsourcing and using other companies to do so. And newsflash, other small businesses can use that exact same manufacturer. You can touch the exact same thing and y'all will say Nike is superior. I want the hypocrisy to fucking stop. The quality is the same. It's made by the same people, but your perception of a more established company will allow you to be blind to the fact that it's the same shit. You know what I mean? And I'm only saying that, I'm not saying that for you to support mine over anybody else's, but there are a certain pocket of manufacturers who make jeans, who make shirts, who make hoodies, who make polos, same quality, same fit, same cut, different logo, and you go with the logo. So I just want y'all to know that is a thing. So now that I'm off my soapbox, we've been very critical of black-owned businesses this episode, but it's necessary, it's needed. We also want to make sure we show love to the black-owned businesses that we actually enjoy and frequent. So, James, go first and just highlight a couple of black-owned
Yeah.
businesses that you actually enjoy.
Absolutely. So, and these are people that I've done business with personally that provide great service. They have follow up and follow through, provide quality service and quality product. So the first one I want to highlight is my homie Doris. She has a company called DC Ventures. So you can follow her on Instagram. It's d.c.ventures with a Z, VENTUREZ. And she loves to travel, so a lot of the stuff that she makes revolves around traveling. However, you can let her know what you want or your ideas, and she can definitely help you out with that. So definitely go ahead and follow her. Check out her site. She has a website, same thing, dcventures.com, and see the things that she's created, and hit her up to let her know what you're looking for.
I gotta shout that out too. She definitely came through for the wedding, and she was one of our vendors in terms of like gear. So definitely had good quality. I can definitely speak on that. Definitely was timely, efficient. She does her homework.
Shout out.
Yeah,
to
shout out to Doris.
She definitely made a couple
definitely.
of shirts for myself, my wife, and a couple of other cheerleader moms. And I was a cheer dad shirt that I had that everybody was jocking while my daughter was doing cheerleading. And she actually wound up holding it down. My wife got a nice order for her. So, yes, Doris is definitely one that holds it down with the T-shirt game, hoodie game, just paraphernalia that you need.
All right, and the second one is, I hope no one uses this one because we all use him for barbers.
I knew it was gonna come up. I know.
I went
But-
today, baby.
But I gotta shout out the barber that we've been going to for forever now, Jazz at a New You barbershop.
A new
Every
you.
barber in there is definitely good. You can definitely check out the owner, Jazz Instagram. It's called A_NU_U_JAS. So a new you Jazz. Check out his work. Address to the shop is down in Hamilton. In Trenton, 1272 Hamilton Ave. Google it, call them up, set up an appointment. All the barbers in there are really good. Definitely want to check that out.
I'll say too, it's a salon and it's not a barber shop. But I'll also say, tell them that
My bad.
Tell them that the Juxtaposition podcast sent you. And,
Tell them we
Yeah,
sent
definitely.
Yep.
and tell them that you get 10% off.
Yo,
Don't do that.
I don't advise. I don't advise that anybody do that. I don't advise that anybody do that.
You could do
For the
it
first time. For the first time.
10%, huh?
Yeah, word up, right? We about to have to we coming up with that 10% ourselves.
Yep.
So how about you? Your two businesses.
I have a few businesses, but one I want to start with is probably one that Var's gonna use, the Fauntleroy brand.
Hey,
Before it was named Fauntleroy brand, I still got one of the shirts that I'm going to keep in frame, so that way, when I gotta be the guy like, nigga, this was your original quality. Here you go.
like those T-shirts ain't last too long.
I got the original joint from like, what year was that? 2011, 2012 when you started?
Well, with the Narnia, that was that was about 2011, 2012. Damn, that was a minute ago.
Shout out to Fauntleroy brand. The stuff is fire, is popping.
Thank you, bro.
I'm about to place a big order when his black business get some more. He ran out of food on me, but some hoodies. I got a large order for him, so get your hoodie, get your hats, whatever it is that you got to do. And one for 4 black businesses that are trying to develop. My newer colleague named is Shabaka Shakur out of Brooklyn, East New York, and his company, he has a few that I will be working with. My LNC Services, LNC Solutions will be working with is Benno Management Services LLC, which he actually helps you develop your business idea. So he's a business
Oh wow,
developer.
okay.
Have an idea, it's gonna cost you, but it take money to make money. He will help you develop it from budgeting to security to getting. He'll even find you investors if the business.
Oh wow.
So he'll pitch it to certain people and make sure that if it's right. It's based off of the industry. I mean, he's not gonna find you investors if you want to sell oils on the corner. I'm sorry. But if you have a legitimate business, he'll definitely be able to help you out. He also has another business that I am actually going to start working with hand in hand. It's called Green Table Enterprises, and we actually flew out to Portland, Oregon, and there is a greenhouse there. So Green Table Enterprises will be coming soon to New York and New Jersey now that the cannabis industry is now taking over into
Yep.
the Northeast. We'll be in Portland, New York, New Jersey, hopefully, Maine, and Massachusetts. Those are the spots in which we will be going. And you can find him at Shaw underscore DA underscore boss, Shaw the boss. And then his last, one of his other companies that he has is Day Two, which I've been a part of. It's a re-entry program for people that just came home from jail, from prison, because
Okay.
he has a great story behind which you guys want to look him up. He was on News 12 in New York, and I get a lot of my employees from there to help the reentry program, put them back to work, get them OSHA certified, trained on whatever it is they need to do to get money, so that way they don't go back to doing the things that got them in trouble in the first place. And
Right.
that is at Day, the number two, M as in Mary, P as in Peter, C as in cat. That's the
The handle, IG handle.
And then there's a group that I want all y'all to be a part of, and I'm gonna get Fauntleroy Brand and UFit Republic in there. We're starting. It's called Black underscore Entrepreneur underscore Club. So the Black Entrepreneurs Club is similar to how these Facebook pages been happening, but
Mm-hmm.
it's more networking, and he'll be throwing events to actually meet people in person
Oh,
and
that's
exchange
dope. I love that.
cards and do. We'll do in the Northeast, but for right now, but he travels. He'll come to California. He'll come to
Nah,
wherever
I'll
you're
pull
at.
up. I'll
Yeah,
pull up.
wherever. And Black Entrepreneurs Club, please look it up. We want to make sure everyone gets in. So those are mine. Shout out to Mr. Shakur, and look out for both of us coming soon.
Before I kick it over to Kev, Alonzo, can you promote your own goddamn business, please?
Oh, because I don't want people getting underselling me and it's like trying to ask me for a discount. My company is Lucky Nephew Construction Services. You can find me at lncservicescorp.com. That's the website. We have LNC Services Corp at on Instagram and Facebook. I have another company coming called LNC Solutions, which will be working with Green Table Enterprise and LNC Solutions. That is not Lucky Nephew. That is Logistics and Cannabis Solutions that is coming
Mm.
and with Lucky Nevy, we do security, fire safety, camera installation, and plumbing work, plumbing and sometimes handyman work. I'm actually on a project right now repairing another black business that screwed up, that did somebody wrong,
He
and
had to, James. He had to give a little stab, James. He had to
now
give a little stab.
I'm just saying they tried to rob the lady and left. She got to get a whole bathroom redone. It's gonna cost some good money, but there's good black-owned businesses that will come do the right thing, like Spike Lee said, and
Right.
fulfill her needs, requirements, and everything. So LNC Services is here. You can reach me 347-748-0755.
Damn.
I love it. All right, Mike Jones. Appreciate that.
Kill by
Kev, give your shout outs.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the time out to shout out my sisters. They both have their own businesses, and they're both thriving in the fitness and the fashion space. So I'm gonna shout out Closet with KLAZET. They do shopping and retail. They're based out in California. And underscore Closet KLAZET underscore. Melissa got her own, and the other sister, she has her own passion type vibes too, and they're doing like more retail. So Melinda got the store, Melissa got the online, and they do a lot of cross promotion in that way. Melissa's MP Fashions on Instagram. Shout them out. Take a look. See what they got going on. Might find something for your lady friend or your wife.
And how about your business, good brother?
Oh yeah, we over here working out the with UFit Republic. Pretty much, we are a public health programming or public health agency that uses science and innovation to help the world become healthier.
And you'll get your ass bust if you ever decide to work out with my brother. But the results are endless. And he shifted from a personal training to public health, which is amazing. Shout out to you, good brother.
Shout
So
out Clean Business, Pulpit Poppy, Collection Services. No, I'm just kidding. I ain't want to leave him out. You're not with us, you know what I mean? But, the doors of the church are open. You can cash app all tithes and offerings to Alonzo at I'm the treasurer of the church.
Alonzo at MSN, you let the MSN go.
So I just want to
So I'm gonna start with a bit of a non-conventional business, because I think that what we are operating in right now is a podcast space, and I think that more people should be able to support different podcasts. So I'm gonna start at home. I'm gonna start with my girl, her podcast, which is Hoop Dreams Podcast, specifically for Laker fans. So James, you should probably be listening. And the handle for Hoop Dreams Podcast is Hoop Dreams with a ZPOD on Instagram. My lady Tiffany is so knowledgeable in all things Lakers. She can tell you salary cap information. She can tell you the history of the organization. She can tell you what Jeannie Buss had for dinner, lunch, and breakfast. She don't fuck around when it comes to her Lakers. So please go give her a follow and a listen. But also my company, which is Fauntleroy brand, and you can find us at fauntleroy.store on Instagram, as well as fauntleroy.store, which is a website, which is FAUNTLEROY.STORE. And what we're here is to make sure that people you're having some luxury comfort to enjoy yourself. I have a origin video as to where I got the inspiration for the brand. It's simply just a mashup of my ideas of loving the future, which is a spaceship, and also making sure that people take care of what you got to take care of here. And additionally, I wanted to shout out, speaking of future, one of my boys, Malcolm. He has a gaming company out of Delaware called Futures First Gaming, and he is one of the first people that I've seen that is in the esports space. So you can follow him at Futures First Gaming. And their description is: we convene esports enthusiasts to engage in competitive and recreational gaming events and learn about industry opportunities. So follow my man Malcolm at Futures First Gaming out of Delaware. So any additional shout outs that you brothers want to mention? Alonzo, do you want to repent for talking shit about black owned businesses the entire episode? I'm trying to figure it out.
I will repent when I get my refunds. Which I ain't get.
Shifting over to my man Moneybag Yo for Bagg Talk.
Yo. Okay, yeah, so if you've been following the market at all from the past week or so, you've been seeing the frenzy that's been going on with a few stocks, specifically GameStop, AMC, BlackBerry. I think Nokia was in there for a little bit. But essentially, there was some people on Reddit that realized what was going on. A bunch of large hedge fund companies were shorting these stocks. So kind of to stick it to the man and make money at the same time, they galvanized everyone to buy up GameStop stock and push the price up to basically create a short squeeze on these hedge funds so that the hedge fund companies lose money and then people make money, the smaller retail customers, if you will. So essentially GameStop stock price, I think, was like at $12 like January 10th, and it shot up as high as like $423, I think was its peak, somewhere around that, something crazy in like a week and a half. So people who were able to get in anywhere from 12, it really doesn't matter, before it reaches peak, either hold it and sold it, or whatever the case was. Some people made a lot of money. But what I want to talk about is how one person was able to turn, I think it was a good amount of money, but I think it turned like $50,000 into a few $1 million on GameStop. So he was able to do it using options, right? So essentially options are like conditional derivative contracts that allow buyers to buy contracts who are the option holders, to buy or sell security at a specific price. So option buyers, people who are buying it, right, are charged a specific amount, which is the premium. And that's really all you're paying. So if you lose any type of money, you're losing the premium, right? So options are divided into two different things. So you got a call option or a put option. A call option, the buyer of the contract purchases the right to buy a specific stock or asset in the future at a predetermined price. That's basically called the exercise price or the strike price. With the put option, the buyer acquires the right to sell the underlying stock or asset at a future price. So with a call, you're buying. With the put, you're selling. So I just want to kind of give like an example of how someone can make a good amount of money off of saying buying a call. So if you're going to buy a call option, you're kind of bullish, if you will, or you think the stock is going to go up. So for GameStop, the guy who bought this call, he knew based upon what was happening that the price was going to soar up. So basically what he did was he bought the option at a specific price. I don't know what the price was. I don't know the exact call that he put, but I'm going to just give an example. So let's say he bought the option at $5 per share. But at the time, GameStop, let's say he bought it when GameStop was selling at, I don't know, say $100 a share, right? But he bought it at $5 per share. But when you buy an option contract, you essentially buy a block or what's called 100 shares per contract. So given that the trader's available budget, let's say you want to invest in $50,000, right? So if you can invest $50,000, or maybe I should do this for easier math purposes since I don't mess this up in my head. So let's say he has $5,000 that he wants to invest in GameStop, and it's $5 per share. So he's investing $5,000 total. The stock price right now costs $5. So what happens is he gets 1,000 shares. That's the normal market buy, right? So if you want to just invest $5,000, $5 a share, right? You got 1,000 shares or $5, right? Now, let's say the stock goes up 10%, right? So it goes from $5 to $5.50, right? That means now you made a profit of $10. Of 10%, excuse me. But now, let's say you have the call option. So instead of that 10%, now it works this way. So let's just use a new example, or kind of similar, but show you how you can kind of make a lot of money for easy math purposes. Again, I kind of have an example here. So you buy a call option with a strike price of $165 that expires about a month from now, and it costs $5.50 per share, or $550 per contract, since it's 100 shares. So given the trader's available budget of whatever they can buy, say they buy 9 options for the cost of $4,950, right? I know I might be losing people right now, so maybe I shouldn't do that.
Nah, you should.
I was trying to give an example to show how you can make so much more money using options, right?
Yeah, I don't think you need
Versus
super
just on the
specifics.
market. That's what I'm trying to get at. However, there still is a risk. The risk is the premium that you pay, right? So if you wanted to buy stocks, usually the option is less than the share. So if the share is selling at $100, the option costs $5, right? But it's $5 for 100 shares, though, right? So that's $5,000 that you have to invest. Now, if that particular stock price don't go up, you're gonna lose that $5,000, right? Because you have an option to buy the stock or to get the stock at that particular price. You get what I mean?
Yeah,
Am I
but
explaining that
but you
right way?
also make money if it goes up incrementally, even if it doesn't reach the price that you initially thought it was going to be at. Yes.
Correct. So it goes up past the strike price. The strike price is whatever the option is.
Right.
Usually is what the current stock price is. So if the stock price right now is $100, the strike price is $100, and now you're saying that you're buying for $5. You're buying 100 shares at $5,000, right? So that's saying you have 100 shares at the strike price of $100, let's say. Now, if that goes up to $150, now you have 100 shares at $150 when that option comes due. So they're going to pay you $150 per those 100 shares but you only pay $5.50 for them. Right? So you see how you can make a ton of money.
Right.
And your only loss is your premium. So your loss stops at your premium. But the amount of money you can make goes up as long as the stock price continues to go up.
Right. And I think the important part is if you have a contract and you have a determinant based on where you think the stock is going to go, it doesn't have to hit that stock price in order for you to make money. If it raises,
It just has to go.
Right.
It just has to go above the strike price.
Right.
So if the strike price is $100, it just needs to go to $100.50.
Right.
In theory, right?
Right.
Because what happens is you make a ton of money by buying stocks at a much lower price. So if the current stock price is $100 and you buy the option at $5, that's basically a $95 profit per share, plus more if it goes up.
So the moral of the story is invest in the fucking stock market with don't just use Reddit as your guide. Make sure that you are using a financial advisor, but there's a lot of money to be made in the stock market. And Alonzo is an idiot. I'll just say that on
I don't know what that has to do with it. However, since if y'all want all what James said,
Blame Zoe for not liking black-owned businesses.
y'all want what James said in layman's terms, right? You can hit an old school fella that I know. This guy, he's actually my dad.
We're not running numbers. Oh, okay, my fault.
Financial services will actually be able to help you with some of these, and not Williams because it's just me talking. No, that's actual legitimate establishment. Williams Financial Investor Corp. Mitch C. Will, WILL, Mitch C. Will at MSN.com. Email, and if you have any questions or ideas or whatever, and my dad will definitely be able to help guide you for everything that James just said, and be able to help you out.
It was a lot, and it was me trying to do math in my head, and I'm like, this ain't working.
Yo,
out.
once you said, let me make math simple. You started at 165. I'm like, oh no, that's not simple. That's not simple. And then he compounded it with 9. Nothing about 9 is simple.
Yo, that's not simple, bro.
I'm like, I just made this way complicated than what it is. Looking to buy in options, but there still is a risk, right? But there is a way that you can make money if you think that stock is going to go up.
Right.
That's the key. So when you buy that particular type of option, the stock needs to go up.
Don't be reckless. Wear your condoms, kids. So go ahead, going over to Zoe for the Serenity Prayer as we dip on out of here. No pun intended.
You really gonna do that right before we talk on the Lord? You're going to hell points. Anyway, before we get to Serenity Prayer, I just want to shout out one last company only because
because you've been shitting on companies all day. That's why.
No, but I do got some friends that we doing things out here. So I want to shout out Athletic Intelligence. Gabriel is on your way. Shout out to my boy Gabe. He does some training virtually now, Zoom training, and so it's Athletic and then Intelligence. You go as one word if you at Athletic Intelligence. So shout out to Gabe as well. You know what I mean? So remember, get your stock quotes from Moneybag Yo, and then when you don't understand what he just said, then you could go to Mitch C. Will at MSN.com and ask your questions.
Send us a message. Send us a direct message on Instagram if you have a more specific question.
Definitely.
That we can answer.
Yeah, DM the Jux page, please.
Yes. Right. First question, what the hell was James talking about?
Well, seriously, I'm like, it's terrible, man. Yo. I was like, I should not try to throw like examples. I should just explain what it was and call it a damn day.
You know how you got to clean that up? You got to be like, if you know, you know.
You know.
Like, I'm like, there was no reason for me to throw math in there. I should have just said what the damn options were.
James said, so boom.
Right? So this I'm doing. And I'm here I'm got my phone calculator up like this ain't working right now, man.
I did it in a pre-meeting.
Seriously, like I had this all in my head already going.
Like AEIOU, sometimes Y.
I'm like, man, forget this damn math. Let me just explain what the hell the option is.
You're too smart for your own good. James is super duper intelligent. And sometimes he can't control himself. He started turning into R2D2.
Bring us home, so.
Let's close up. we want to say, God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference between the two, and those stock quotes.
And we are out. Just as a reminder for you all in the Justice League, next week we will be having a bonus episode for you. We will be featuring good brother Alonzo to figure out his story, where he came from and why he's light skinned. Until then, we'll see y'all next week.
Peace.